Hi everyone, so this is going to be my 37 week update, full term this week, and I will say this is not going to be like most of my videos where I describe my symptoms and all that kind of stuff. Basically, I'll tell you what has happened each day this week, because it has been like the busiest day for us. On Sunday, all day long I was, fine. This is when I turned 37 weeks. And then that night, as soon as I lay down, I started having contractions, and I had to be at work at 7 o'clock Monday morning, and I'm like, oh, please don't let this be one of those nights where I'm going to have contractions all night long. So, kept trying to sleep and trying to sleep and trying to sleep. And I had like 3 within, I guess it was like 20 or 30 minutes. They just started getting more intense and more horrible. They were starting to come closer together. They were still like irregular though, so I didn't think much of it. And then like around like 10 or 11, they started picking up, and they were like every 5 minutes apart, and they kept coming every 5 minutes from about, I would say, 10:30, 11 o'clock till about 8 that morning. And so around 2 a.m., I called my grandparents, because they the ones that are going to be coming up and watching Ella for us when I go into labor and whatnot. And they're like, are you sure you're in labor? And I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm in labor, but I just want to have you up here for just in case, that I do go into full-blown labor. So they came up, and they got there about 4:30, I guess. And my husband had been like for the past like 3 hours, from like 2 o'clock on, just like, let's go to the hospital. Do you want to go to the hospital? Let's go to the hospital. I'm like, no, I don't want to go to the hospital. I don't want to go to the hospital. I just didn't want to. It seemed to me it was just fake. It was all fake labor, and that, it was just my body like gearing up for labor. I was, it's like I'm only 37 weeks. I couldn't be going into labor, But then when my grandparents got there around 5, my husband was still pushing me to the hospital. And by this time, it seemed like they were kind of slowing up. So I went to the hospital and got put on monitors. And they said, oh yeah, you're having contractions every 5 minutes. And they said that I was having the baby was having some variable decels with the contractions. So they were a little worried about that. When they checked me, I was 1 centimeter and 50% effaced, which was very disappointing, because I had gone through these very intense, painful contractions all night long and had not had any sleep. I woke up Sunday morning at 8 and didn't even like go to sleep until Monday at like 1 o'clock. So I went to lay down and take a nap. But anyways, so continue on the story. So I was 1 centimeter and 50% effaced, and I was just like, wow, I haven't even changed since my doctor's appointment, which was on Thursday. I guess it was last Thursday. So they said, we'll come in and check you again, and if you've changed any, then that's when we'll know that you're actually in labor. So waited an hour, and in that hour, some lady came in, and she was like 6.5, 7 centimeters dilated. When she came in, I was just like, oh, I wish that was me. But anyway, so she was immediately admitted, but I'm just sitting there like waiting and waiting. There's like all these women coming in, and some were getting like admitted and some were not, So then they come back, they checked me again. I was still 1 centimeter and 50% effaced. The doctor that was on call, she said, I would let you go, and I would say, go get some breakfast or whatever. She says, but, the baby's heart rate was dropping a little bit with the contractions, and we want to continue to monitor her, so we're going to admit you. And so I think the nurse that took over for the triage nurse thought I was in labor, and that's why they were admitting me. But they did let me like walk the halls while I was being monitored. They would take me off for about 15 minutes and let me walk. So I was the only one that was walking in the entire unit. I was the only one. But of course, didn't have a lot of pregnant people in there, but still, I was like the only one that was like walking around the unit. So then, and I don't know if that's just because they don't let you walk. I'm really not sure. I see most women don't even want to walk around. I was just one of the far and few that did. So I walked around for a little while. This was in triage, and plus, like, when they admitted me and everything, I got into the room and I was like, can I just, walk around? And it's like, I think that my labor is ceasing. It's slowing down. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. So I'm like walking around or whatever, trying to get my labor to start back up again, or the contractions to start back up again. And then I just got really tired because I wasn't having any more contractions. So I went and laid down and took a little nap. And in that time, I didn't have any contractions, just little Braxton Hicks contractions. And so I called her in and I said, I would like to go home because I'm not having any more contractions and I don't want to sit here waiting for something to happen. Because the doctor also talked like she was going to like have me there the entire day just to see if labor was going to start up again or whatever. And she's like, and then tomorrow morning, if you're not doing anything, then we'll talk about your options. But it's like, I don't want to even talk about induction or C-section. I just, wanted to go home. So I went home around, 1 o'clock that afternoon. They really were pressing me to have a repeat C-section because they think she has intrauterine growth restriction. Like I was saying last week, they measured her at 5 pounds and 1 ounce. But she is doing, just fine. Like, she did fine on her ultrasound. They ordered an ultrasound at the hospital, and she did fine with the biophysical profile. And she did fine with the monitoring as well. So anyways, but I had one of the doctors tell me, she's like, well, it seems like you're small and I don't think we would have VBAC. And the other lady that came on after her, I was so glad that she left because she was very negative. But the other lady that came on after her, she's like, I'm glad that you've chosen to have a VBAC. Let's see what you do, and da-da-da. And so anyways, I liked her better. And I had like the perfect doctor, the perfect nurse, the perfect anesthesiologist, because I know all the anesthesiologists because I work in the OR. Well, not in the OR, but I work in pre-op. So I know all the anesthesiologists, and she was a good anesthesiologist. Like, she talked to me about, the options of epidurals and things like that. And I said, I really don't want one. And not to mention the fact that my birth plan was out in the car. We forgot it in the car. So the next time that this happens, I'm definitely going to bring that with me. I need to put it in my bag instead of the baby's bag. But like the whole time, like we didn't even like prepare like ourselves for me going into labor at 37 weeks. So we were running around getting chargers and getting makeup and getting everything into the car. And my husband hadn't even packed his bag, so he's got his bag now packed. It's sitting in there in the living room, like ready to go in case something happens. But it was just like a rush and dash, and I had like ran downstairs, and I'm having contractions, and I'm running downstairs like getting my grandparents' bed ready because I hadn't even put the sheets or anything on it yet because like I don't want collect dust and stuff. I want it to be clean for them. So I hadn't even put those on there. I just was not prepared. So now like everything's prepared because I thought I was going to labor on Monday. We got all that stuff prepared that day. So anyways, I've been like. Then Tuesday, I had an ultrasound and an NST, which is an eye stress test, where they monitor the baby's heart rate when he or she moves. And so she passed that, and she passed the ultrasound again, and she looked really good. My fluid levels at the hospital on Monday were 12, and they were 11 on Tuesday. And then yesterday, I was having a couple little contractions when I would walk and stuff, and nothing like what it was on Sunday night, of course. And then today I had another appointment. I'm going to be doing NSTs and ultrasounds twice a week. We made a deal that that's what I would do in order to stay pregnant, and to be able to keep the baby inside until I actually go into labor on my own, because she wanted to do an induction or whatnot, because they say with the intrauterine growth restriction babies that they want to get them out as soon as possible. And that's like 37 weeks. Like, they would take me today if I allowed them to, but I will not. So anyways, today though, she passed her NST, she passed her ultrasound just fine. Even though my amniotic fluid levels were like 7.8 now, she said that was fine, that was okay, that was good. So I'm going to continue to work until I absolutely, feel like I just can't do it any longer, because she wanted to put me on bed rest, but not like complete bed rest, but modified bed rest, where I was just, resting throughout the day and, drinking and stuff. But I made a deal with her that I would only work 8 hours, and she was fine with that. She's like, that sounds better than the 10 hours you've been working. So I'm going to be working 8 to 4:30 next week. And the days that I go to my doctor's appointments, I'll only be working like 5.5, 6 hours anyways, because I'll have to leave to go to a 2-hour doctor's appointment, because that's about how long it takes for me to do an appointment, an ST, and the ultrasound. It takes, a very long time. So they checked me on Tuesday. They checked me. I was 2 centimeters and 70% effaced. And then they checked me today, and I was 2 centimeters and 70% effaced. But I did not expect for me to change in only 36 hours basically, or 48 hours. And reason being is because, I just haven't really had any contractions anymore, and it's just kind of every now and then, I get a contraction, and like maybe 3 in an hour or something like that. Today though, I was feeling kind of yuck. This morning, just, my stomach was cramping, and I did lose a pound at the doctor's office. I was, last week I was 132, and my weight jumps from 132 to 134, back down to 132. So, I don't know, I think it's, just activities during the day, what I do, and how the fluid collects and everything. So then today I was like, or Monday or Tuesday, I weighed 134 or something like that, and now I'm back down to 133. So I lost a pound in between that time. So I don't know if that means maybe that labor's coming soon. I'm not sure. And I would like her to stay there until 39 weeks. If at all possible, I'd like her to stay there till her due date, really. I've never made it to my due date, and I'd like to experience that. Even if she was overdue, I wouldn't be extremely upset and trying to get her out. But I decided that, like at 40 weeks, if she's still there and my cervix is, still 2 centimeters, 70% or whatever, then I'll just do a membrane sweep and see if that gets things started. And it's kind of going against, like what I've said in the past, that I wasn't going to do a membrane sweep, but now I'm kind of for it, just because, they're worried about her, and I don't want them to like push me into a C-section or try to like, coerce me into a C-section or an induction. I just want her to come on her own. So if that makes her come on her own, then I say do it. But really that is about it. When I measured my belly, I was nearly 40 inches around. The belly has gotten pretty heavy. It's hurting my back now. My lower back just kills me when I'm at work. I have to sit down and drink water every so often, because I just feel so dehydrated. And I get in about, now, I used to only drink like 4 servings of water, but now I get in like 7 servings of water, just because they want me to stay hydrated. They want me eating good, and so anyways, but yeah, and I've had some heartburn, and I've had a lot of nausea this week. I've been feeling pretty crappy since Sunday when all those contractions started. So just the nausea, the heartburn, indigestion kind of stuff. So anyways, the only thing that I have to show you guys that we got this week is my friend at work. She gave us this little giraffe, which I think is so cute. It's by TY, the Beanie Babies, and it's really cute. And when I brought it home, Ella was like, she's looking at it like, is that mine? But as soon as I brought it home, my husband's like, go put that in Hannah's crib. And so she comes in and she puts it in her crib, and she thinks that Hannah is going to be sleeping in the bassinet forever, I guess. She doesn't realize what this is. We're like, no, Hannah will be sleeping here some too. And so then she wanted to like get in there and investigate it. My husband, of course, puts her in there and like, don't put her in there, because then she'll want to like get in there like constantly. But he only did it that one time, and we tell her that, it's Hannah's crib, that she doesn't need to be in there. And I I just don't want to come into her room in the room one day and see that she's climbed in there with her. So, which she probably will do, but I'm trying to prevent that. So let me show you guys my belly. Let me know if you think it's dropped a little more. I think like she's slowly dropping down. At least that's how it feels because I pee all the time, and lots of pressure down there. I can feel her head down there just like bumping up against my pelvic area. So anyways, but I will show you my belly. So this is with my clothes on. It's gotten pretty big. Feels like it's just gotten really big over this past week. And there she is without my shirt. My belly button will sometimes stick out really far and sometimes it won't. I don't know if that's just for positioning or what. No new stretch marks, which I'm glad. And then she is from this side. So anyways, I will see you guys next week for week 38, hopefully. If I will try to do like an update if I think I'm in labor. I didn't do one when on a Monday or Sunday night into Monday morning because I didn't think I was in labor, and I wasn't in labor. But my husband, he was just like really anxious and wanted to go to the hospital, and I'm just like, I don't want to go to the hospital. I don't want to go to the hospital. So anyways, but I will not be going to the hospital unless I absolutely think that I'm in labor. And not, you know, if I think, oh, well, it's fake, but let me go to the hospital anyways. Alright, so I will see you guys next week.